Hello, everyone. It's Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Ask the CMWorld community live stream. As always, you can find us here pretty much every Monday at noon Eastern here in the U.S. Over the last few weeks, we've been gearing up for our big event. Content Marketing World is just a couple weeks away, September 28th through October 1st, both in person and online. So over these last couple of weeks, we've been chatting with some of our awesome CMWorld speakers for these live streams. Of course, as always, they're sharing their great expertise and knowledge with all of us while giving us a sneak peek at their sessions and workshops for the big event. And if you don't know, CMWorld is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. If you don't know what CMI is, we're the leading training and education organization for all things content marketing. You can learn more at contentmarketinginstitute.com. So let's see. Have some of you checking in already. I see Jose is checking in. Today we have a super awesome speaker as always. But let's start here with our question of the day as we lead into the introduction. How are you at measuring your content marketing efforts? I think this is hard for a lot of content marketers. So if your boss came to you today and asked, how's that content marketing campaign going? Would you be able to give her some clear results? A solid content marketing strategy includes a solid measurement strategy. That means collecting, analyzing, and making the right decisions based on your analytics. And we're going to dive into all of that today and chat a bit about what metrics to pay attention to, what systems to use, and how to make some decisions from all of that data. All right, let's see. Andy, hello, Andy's joining us as well. Mariola, Tabitha from Texas, Andrea from Seattle, Stephanie from Oregon. Of course, Monina's joining us as well. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We love to see all of you today. Like as I said, let us know how you're measuring your content marketing efforts. All right, here we go. Let's get to today's guest. I'm super excited and not just a little bit intimidated. Christopher Penn is an authority on digital marketing and marketing technology. He's an expert in Google Analytics, data-driven marketing, PR, email marketing, AI, machine learning. He works with such companies as Citrix, McDonald's, GoDaddy, McKesson, Toyota. And if you have any questions about his expertise, he's certified in Google Analytics, Google AdWords, Google Digital Sales, HubSpot Inbound. And oh, by the way, he is also the author of like two dozen books. Hello, Chris. Welcome today.
Hello.
Thank you.
I have quite the challenge here. I'm trying to. So Jose, I'm pretty sure is from. I think that's the Puerto Rican flag. Krishna, that's the flag of India. Mariola, that's a flag of Poland, I think. Damas, I don't recognize that flag. I'm not sure what it is. So please let us know what flag that is. It's always a challenge.
Thank you. And thanks for you must have studied all that at school. I was like, I don't know what flag it is. I couldn't tell where they were from.
Well, it's funny, on one of our Discord servers, people will tag themselves with the flag of their nation. So I recognize some of them from folks on Discord and Slack, but some of them not yet.
Yes, let us know where you're from if we can figure out your flag there. All right, Chris. So first off today, what is the biggest mistake you see marketers make when it comes to gauging the performance of their content efforts?
Not knowing the difference between a metric and a KPI, by far. So here's the thing. A KPI is a number for which, if it goes the wrong direction, you get fired, right? So ask yourself, like, what numbers is like your job, your performance review banking on, right? So if you are like a hardware store and your website traffic goes to zero, do you go out of business? The answer is probably no, right? It's Tanzania. Okay, great. If you are Amazon.com and your website business goes to zero, do you go out of business? The answer is yes, right? So everyone's going to have different numbers. The question that you have to ask yourself is, what number, you want to put it more positively, what number do you get your bonus for? What number do you get fired for or get dinged on your performance reviews? Once you're clear about that, that's your KPI, right? If you don't know what that number is, you need to ask your boss, right? And if your boss doesn't know that number is, you need to update your LinkedIn profile because you and your boss are in a lot of trouble.
Good point. All right. So content marketers often default to using, we all know this, vanity metrics, right? Page views, social media likes, etc., because they're easy to track and understand. But if you really want to prove to your boss it's making an impact, what metrics, which you kind of touched on, do you recommend using instead?
I don't like the term vanity metrics because it presumes that you know what matters. So, for example, followers. Uh, it may be a relevant metric. It may be part of the chain of evidence from A to Z, where Z is the goal, the business goal outcome. It may be in there. And it's one of those things where if that number drops out, if it goes to zero, the rest of the chain of evidence may fall apart, right? So yeah, followers might not matter, or it might matter a great deal. Page views might not matter, or it might matter a great deal. Generally speaking, and this is where we transition out of marketing and into actual statistics and mathematics. You have to run analysis with all your data to say what numbers contribute to the final outcome. So typically, this would, in statistics, would be called multiple regression, right? You have an outcome like revenue or closed won deals or something like that, and you would run combinations of every possible set of numbers to see what has the highest mathematical relationship, or using stuff like decision trees or things, whatever the technologies that you use, the method, you would come up with an answer saying these things matter and these things don't. And only after that number after the analysis, can you say, okay, social media followers don't matter, right? There's no mathematical relationship between social media followers and any of the outcomes we care about. That's what, again, be very careful judging something as a vanity metric. You have to do the work with your data, because it's going to be different for every company, for every website. It will be different based on the composition of your audience, and how they react and what they react to. So, yeah, be careful.
That's a good point. You're right. So you can't just give me like one blanket. This is how you do it, right?
I mean, at the end of the day, the business result is what the boss cares about. The boss cares about how much money did you make me, or how much time did you save me, something like that. And you have to be able to draw a line between what the boss is being held accountable for, to the board or the CEO or whoever, and what you do. There has to be a line of sight between what you're doing, what that outcome is. Again, if there's not, you're probably going to get fired because you're doing things that he or she does not care about. So there's that. But really, it comes down to what data you have access to and the level of skill you can bring to that analysis. Now, that said, I will say a good beginner thing to do is to have goals and goal values set up in Google Analytics, right? Google Analytics is free software from Google. The newest version is equally free, a little more confusing. But at the end of the day, it does a pretty good job of getting you roughly about halfway down the funnel for B2B or for complex sales, and then a little further down, sometimes all the way down the funnel for simple sales, what people typically associate with B2C sales. That's a good start.
Mm-hmm. So that answers my next question. That's your go-to reporting for any sort of analytics tool. That's what you would recommend.
That's what I recommend for other people. That's not what I use for me.
Yeah. What this is 101. We're talking content marketing analytics 101, right?
That's what the workshop name is. And I would definitely encourage you to go to the workshop. What I use for me is a combination of a couple things. It's all based on Google Analytics data itself. One of the things I look at is this. I'm going to share my screen here. I don't know if you can bring that up, Amanda, or not. Yep. Is a report that I call MVP, Most Valuable Pages. If you think about how people walk through your website, they go to certain pages more than others on the way to conversions. If you know what are the most commonly visited pages on the way to a conversion, that's the content that's working. So this is my website. This is my August assessment. And what we're looking at here is there's some blog posts, and there's some regular pages and things, but I see here these are the pages that have nudged people towards conversion the most. And then what I can do is I can take action on this. I can say, okay, those pages are make sure they're really tuned up. make sure I'm sharing them in social media, make sure I'm putting them in my newsletter. At the bottom of my blog posts, I would want to make sure that I'm recommending these pages, because we know from a mathematical perspective, this is going to nudge people towards conversion. The other thing that I think is so important is in Google Analytics itself, it can actually tell you if you've done your tagging and tracking correctly. You can see what's working. So let me bring that up here. So this is Google Analytics 4. And this is a look at my funnel for my website. This is for the last 28 days. And I can see, what's early on, sort of top of funnel activity. Emails is really big, right? It's a substantial chunk of my early touch points. Organic searches, it's sort of the middle, the nurturing, the nudging is organic search and referral. Towards the end is direct and email. So I know what at a channel level what's working. And then again, if you're doing your tagging and tracking correctly, I can actually see individual pieces of content. Like, so this is my newsletter from August 22nd. Did a really good job, that issue, of getting people into the top of the funnel. I can see here the issue from August 29th. It was actually a good deal closer. It got people to do the thing. And there's no coding involved. There's no expensive technology on your part. Google's providing this. You just have to configure it properly and learn how to use it. But this is new in GA4 because it does help you see different parts of the funnel and understand, like, hey, the middle of my marketing operations funnel is really thin on content. Like, what's going on there? Why is my content not doing more to help nudge people to nurture them through conversion than it is in the other parts of the funnel? So this would be, if I had to pick one report for you to learn and learn well, it would be this conversion path analysis within the new Google Analytics 4. I think that's a good starting point.
Gotcha. So, let's talk a little bit about the dashboards. What's your favorite tips for building one that makes it easy for content teams to discover the most meaningful insights?
Here's what we say, and we say this to our clients all the time. Data without dashboards, or data without decisions or distractions, right? A dashboard without decisions is just a decoration, and you're not going to use it, and it's going to be a giant waste of your time. So the question you have to ask is, what decisions do you need to make? Is the decision you need to spend some more money? Is it to spend less money? Is it reallocate resources? That's what a dashboard should do. If it doesn't, then if you don't have that understanding, that it's possible you could end up creating these Frankenstein monstrosities where people just throw all sorts of data everywhere. Do what we call my CEO and partner Katie Rivera loves to call these things called user stories, and write them out. And they're just sentences. As a blank your role, I need to, the action you want to take, so that the outcome, right? So as a CMO, I need to understand my attribution analysis so that I can allocate budget. As a content marketing creator, I need to see which content is performing best from a revenue perspective so that I can create more content like it. As the SEO manager, I need to see which pages earn the most organic searches so that I know which pages I need to tune. When you have those stories written out that explain what the person's trying to do, then you can create dashboards for that. Now, here's the biggest thing people do wrong. There is no such thing as the one dashboard that has the answers on it, right? There is no one ring to rule them all. There's no one dashboard to rule them all. What we tell people is, think of your organization as a matrix, right? There's people at the top, people, at various roles in the middle, people at the bottom. And there's verticals, accounting and finance and marketing and stuff like that. And if you think of your organization as that, you take your org chart out maybe, and even just sort of try and make that grid of, the different levels of organization, managers, directors, executives, etc. Every box in that matrix needs its own dashboard, because what the CMO cares about and what the CMO needs to make decisions on is not what the marketing manager needs, right? And trying to create a dashboard that is it tries to do everything in one is just a mistake. It's you will create a dashboard that serves nobody and doesn't help with anything, as opposed to giving the content marketing manager, here are the 3 things that you need to keep an eye on. That's the other thing that we recommend to people, is a good dashboard kind of has a rule of three. If you're European, you go like this rule of three. It is the three things that you need to pay attention to, you need to make decisions on. If there's more than three things, you're probably not going to be able to make a snap decision on it. You're going to look at it and your eyes are going to glaze over. Like when I bring up that, dashboard for or that analysis from Google Analytics, there's one thing, right? It's just a bar chart. And all I need to do is make one decision. What content do I need to fix or what content do I need to promote? That's it. It keeps it simple. Where people will get into trouble is when you have a boss who has absolutely no understanding of what they're asking for, and they just ask you to dump everything. And that's okay. You can make a dashboard for the boss. Here's all the things that you ask, the 28 data points that you think are important. There's a speedometer. Avinash Kaushik says, if a dashboard has a speedometer on it, you automatically know it's a bad dashboard because somebody put it together who has no idea what they're doing. But then make a dashboard for yourself that focuses only on the decisions that you need to make. So you can spend a lot of time on dashboards, but make sure they're useful. Make sure that there's something that you can go, okay, I know what I need to do today or this week or this month, and not spend a whole lot of time, hunting for which of the 44 gauges and dials here is the one I need to pay attention to.
Great stuff. I don't know if all of you are listening here. Chris is going to be doing a clearly awesome workshop for us coming at Content Marketing World. Chris, what can people expect at your workshop if they sign up for it?
That's a very good question. And the answer is, it is depending. So one of the things I've done with this is I actually asked in our Slack group. So like CMI, by the way, if you haven't joined the CMI Slack, you should. It's a fantastic community. But in both the CMI Slack and the Trust Insights Analytics for Marketers Slack, I asked people, what questions do you have about content marketing analytics? And we have this long collection of questions that sort of grouped together, and it comes in 6 areas, right? So attribution, like what kinds of what kinds of attribution? There's a whole bunch of questions that measurement, just general measurement questions, general content strategy questions about data. So saying like, I have data, how do I turn it into strategy? Then there's some tactical stuff, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, SEO. Some of the things I just showed you with that one analysis in GA4 is stuff that we'll cover in the workshop. But this is a different kind of workshop. Normally, what we tend to do is we tend to just put up a bunch of slides and things. And this time around, I thought, instead of me trying to presume that I know what people want to know about content marketing analytics, I'm going to ask people, like, what is it that you want to know? And then try and answer those questions. So if you have the chance to join the CMI Slack before the workshop, find this discussion thread and put your question in it, because I can make sure it makes it into the workshop.
Great. Someone was asking about your latest book, but I think Andy answered it. AI for Marketers, 3rd edition.
AI for Marketers, the third primer, the 3rd edition. You can get it at aiformarketersbook.com for the digital version. And if you like killing trees, you can get the dead tree version on Amazon.
Eugene says Google Analytics and other tools are very helpful in telling people if they're prioritizing the right channels. Marwa says multiple dashboards is an approach that not too many people adopt for sure. All right, everyone. As I said, you can see Chris at Content Marketing World. He's going to go in depth and answer your questions, as he said. Chris, before then, where can people find you?
You can find me 2 places. Go to trustinsights.ai is one of the easiest starting places. And if you want to read my personal blog and my newsletter, that's christopherspenn.com. Those are the easiest places to find me.
All right. So you can also, we have a little code for you. If you head over to contentmarketingworld.com and register, you get $100 off if you use this code. So thank you all so much for watching today. Thank you, Chris, for taking the time. I highly recommend his workshop. My head is spinning, so I'm going to go take a little break after this. So thank you all so much, and we will see you next Monday. See you, Chris.
Take care, everyone.